Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, believed that clear thinking is the key to making better decisions and living a more peaceful life. His personal writings, meditations, offer powerful lessons on how to control emotions, overcome negative thoughts, and see the world with a rational mind. In this video, we'll break down 5 essential Stoic principles from Marcus Aurelius that will help you think more clearly, stay calm under pressure, and navigate life with wisdom. Stoic philosophy and thinking clearly. Clear thinking is one of the most valuable skills a person can develop. In a world full of distractions, emotional triggers, and constant noise, the ability to remain rational and make well-grounded decisions is rare, but essential. Stoicism, a philosophy practiced by great thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, teaches us that a calm and disciplined mind is the foundation of a successful life. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This simple yet profound statement highlights one of Stoicism's core principles: control your mind. And you control your reality. Most of life's suffering comes not from external events but from how we interpret them. Two people can experience the same situation. One may see it as an unbearable hardship, while the other views it as a challenge to grow stronger. The difference lies in perception, and perception is shaped by thought. Seneca, another great Stoic philosopher, emphasized this point when he said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Our minds tend to exaggerate problems, dwelling on what-ifs and worst-case scenarios. But when we train ourselves to think clearly, we separate facts from fears. Instead of reacting impulsively, we analyze situations with reason. This allows us to make decisions based on logic rather than emotion, a crucial skill in relationships, business, and personal growth. Epictetus, a former slave who became a revered Stoic teacher, took this even further. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This lesson is especially relevant in today's fast-paced, high-stress society. People often blame circumstances for their unhappiness, bad luck, unfair bosses, financial struggles, but Stoicism teaches that external events are neutral. It's our interpretation of them that determines whether they hurt us. A lost job, for example, can be seen as a devastating failure or as an opportunity to pivot to something better. The choice is always ours. Thinking clearly requires discipline. It means questioning our assumptions, challenging emotional impulses, and avoiding knee-jerk reactions. It means asking ourselves, is this really as bad as it seems? Am I making decisions based on logic or fear? What is within my control right now? These questions bring us back to rationality. The Stoics believed that clarity of thought leads to a better life. When we strip away irrational fears, emotional biases, and self-imposed suffering, we gain the ability to see the world as it is, not as we fear it to be. This mindset allows us to navigate challenges with confidence, stay calm in crises, and focus on what truly matters. In this video, we'll explore 5 key lessons from Marcus Aurelius that will help you train your mind to think clearly, stay resilient in difficult times, and approach life with a sense of calm and wisdom. Lesson 1. Train your perception. How you see the world shapes how you experience it. Your perception isn't just a passive reflection of reality. It actively determines whether your life feels fulfilling or frustrating, peaceful or chaotic. The Stoics understood this well. Marcus Aurelius, in Meditations, wrote, "Choose not to be harmed and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed and you haven't been." In other words, the way you interpret events is more important than the events themselves. Think about it. You wake up late, spill coffee on your shirt, and hit every red light on your way to work. You could let frustration take over, labeling the day as ruined. Or, you could take a step back and remind yourself, it's just spilled coffee. Just a few extra minutes in traffic. Nothing truly life-altering has happened. Your mindset, not the circumstances, dictates your mood. Our default setting is to judge everything, people, experiences, even ourselves. We categorize things as good or bad, interesting or boring, beautiful or ugly. But this habit, while natural, can be exhausting and misleading. It traps us in an emotional roller coaster, where minor inconveniences feel like major problems. The Stoics encourage us to break free from this cycle. Instead of reacting instinctively, we should pause and ask, am I seeing this clearly? Is my reaction based on facts or just my emotions? A great way to shift your perspective is to reframe situations. Imagine you attend a party where you don't know anyone. You might instinctively label it as awkward or boring. But what if you saw it as an opportunity to observe, to listen, to meet just one interesting person? Suddenly, the experience changes. The event itself remains the same, but your perception transforms it. The same principle applies to hardships. Suppose you're dealing with a difficult coworker, someone who slows down projects and frustrates you daily. The immediate reaction? Annoyance. But what if you reframe the situation? Instead of seeing this person as an obstacle, see them as a chance to practice patience, leadership, and problem solving. Marcus Aurelius put it best, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Challenges, when seen correctly, become opportunities for growth. One of the most powerful Stoic exercises is turning the obstacle upside down. It's a mental shift that turns setbacks into stepping stones. Instead of thinking, this is happening to me, reframe it as this is happening for me. The coworker who frustrates you is actually training you to be a more patient leader. The bad breakup isn't just heartbreak, it's a lesson in resilience and self-worth. Training your perception doesn't mean ignoring reality or pretending everything is great. It means seeing things as they truly are, without unnecessary negativity. Every moment presents a choice. Will you judge it harshly? Or will you see it through a clearer, calmer lens? The choice is yours. Lesson 2. Learn to control your emotions. Your emotions are powerful. They can push you to make great decisions, or cloud your judgment completely. The difference? Control. The Stoics believed that mastering your emotions was key to thinking clearly and living wisely. Marcus Aurelius put it simply, stop letting your emotions override what your mind tells you. Think about a time when anger got the best of you. Maybe someone cut you off in traffic, and before you knew it, you were slamming the horn, yelling inside your car. Did it change anything? Did the other driver suddenly become more considerate? No, but it probably left you feeling frustrated for the next few minutes, or even hours. That's the problem with unchecked emotions. They control you, instead of the other way around. Now, controlling emotions doesn't mean suppressing them. That's a common misconception. Pushing emotions down doesn't make them disappear, it just buries them until they explode later. Stoicism teaches something different, redirection. Instead of fighting emotions, you acknowledge them and use them wisely. Take anger. For example, if someone betrays you, anger is a natural response. But what will you do with it? Yelling might feel satisfying in the moment, but will it actually fix anything? Instead, ask yourself, what action would make this situation better? Maybe a calm conversation, maybe setting boundaries, maybe walking away altogether. The key is choosing a response based on logic, not impulse. Fear works the same way. Imagine you want to ask for a raise, but anxiety holds you back. Your mind races. What if my boss says no? What if I look foolish? Many people stop right there, letting fear paralyze them. Others ignore it, forcing themselves through while pretending they're not afraid. But there's a better way. Use the fear to prepare. Ask yourself, why am I afraid? What's the worst that can happen? Maybe your boss rejects the request. So what? Will you lose your job over it? Unlikely. Instead of letting fear control you, let it guide you. Use it to rehearse your talking points. Anticipate objections. Walk into that meeting not despite your fear, but with it, because of it. Fear, when handled correctly, can be a motivator, not a roadblock. Seneca, another great Stoic, once said, you must master your emotions, or they will master you. This applies to all aspects of life, work, relationships, personal challenges. The strongest people aren't the ones who never feel anger, sadness, or fear. They're the ones who know how to use those emotions constructively. So the next time you feel overwhelmed by emotion, pause, take a breath, ask yourself, is this feeling helping or hurting me? How can I respond in a way that aligns with my long-term goals? The more you practice, the easier it becomes, and soon, no emotion, no matter how strong, will ever control you again. Lesson 3. Exercise the dichotomy of control. Some things are in your control, others are not. It sounds simple, yet most people spend their lives worrying about things they can't change. The Stoics saw this as one of the greatest sources of unnecessary suffering. Marcus Aurelius put it plainly: you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Think about the last time you were frustrated. Maybe a flight got delayed, traffic made you late, or someone criticized you unfairly. What happened next? Did you stress over it, complain, or let it ruin your day? If so, you fell into a common trap, focusing on what you can't control instead of what you can. Epictetus, another great Stoic, made this distinction clear. Some things are up to us, and some things are not. You can't control the weather, the economy, or what people think about you, but you can control your reactions, your choices, and your mindset. The sooner you accept this, the more peace you'll find. Let's put this into perspective. Imagine you're preparing for a big job interview. You can't control the interviewer's mood, the number of other candidates, or whether the company ultimately hires you. But you can control how well you prepare, how you present yourself, and how you respond under pressure. Worrying about the outcome won't help, but focusing on your effort will. The dichotomy of control isn't about ignoring problems. It's about directing your energy wisely. If you can change something, take action. If you can't, let it go. It's that simple. But here's the challenge. Most people know this, yet struggle to apply it. Why? Because letting go feels like losing control. But in reality, it's the opposite. It's gaining control over the one thing that truly matters: your mind. This is where the Stoic principle of amor fati, or love of fate, comes in. Instead of resisting life's uncertainties, embrace them. If something is out of your control, don't just accept it. Find a way to appreciate it. Seneca put it best: a good person dyes events with his own color, and turns whatever happens to his own benefit. Got rejected from a job? Maybe that's pushing you toward a better opportunity. Lost money in an investment? A valuable lesson for the future. Faced with an unexpected setback? Maybe it's a test of patience and resilience. When you shift your mindset, you stop seeing obstacles, you see opportunities. Here's a simple exercise. The next time you feel stressed, ask yourself 2 questions. Is this in my control? If yes, take action. If no, shift your focus elsewhere. Over time, this habit rewires your thinking. You'll waste less energy on things you can't change and channel more into things you can. The Stoics understood that true strength comes not from controlling the world, but from controlling yourself. Master this, and you'll unlock a new level of clarity, focus, and resilience. Lesson 4. Keep virtues in mind. What makes a good life? The Stoics had a clear answer: virtue. To them, success wasn't about wealth, power, or fame. It was about character. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Dig deep within yourself, for there is a fountain of goodness ever ready to flow if you will keep digging." In other words, everything you need to live well is already within you. You just have to cultivate it. But what does it mean to live virtuously? The Stoics identified 4 key virtues: wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. These aren't just lofty ideals. They're practical tools for making better decisions and living with integrity. Master them, and you'll navigate life with clarity and purpose. Wisdom. Seeing clearly. Wisdom is the ability to distinguish what is truly important from what is trivial. It's thinking rationally instead of being driven by impulse. It's knowing when to speak and when to stay silent. It's understanding that setbacks are lessons, not punishments. Imagine you're in a heated argument. Wisdom reminds you to pause before reacting. Instead of lashing out, you step back, consider the bigger picture, and choose your words carefully. The result? A conversation that leads to understanding instead of regret. Justice. Doing what's right. Justice is about fairness, not just to yourself, but to others. The Stoics believed that we are all interconnected. What benefits others ultimately benefits us, and vice versa. Marcus Aurelius saw justice as the highest virtue, writing, "What is not good for the beehive cannot be good for the bee." This means standing up for what's right, even when it's difficult. It means treating people with respect, whether they're friends, strangers, or even enemies. It's about acting with integrity, even when no one is watching. In a world where cutting corners is common, choosing justice sets you apart. Courage. Facing fear head-on. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's acting in spite of it. The Stoics knew that fear holds people back, not just from danger, but from opportunity. What if I fail? What if people judge me? These thoughts stop us from taking risks that could change our lives. Seneca once said, "Sometimes even to live is an act of courage." Courage is asking for that promotion, starting that business, speaking up when it's easier to stay quiet. Every act of bravery strengthens you, making the next challenge feel smaller. Temperance. The power of self-control. Temperance is moderation. It's knowing when enough is enough. It's saying no to short-term pleasure for long-term success. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily to practice restraint, understanding that too much of anything, food, drink, even work, can be destructive. Consider a simple example: eating junk food. One slice of cake? Enjoy it. A whole cake? Regret follows. The same goes for social media, spending, and even ambition. Temperance isn't about deprivation, it's about balance. Virtue as a way of life. Living virtuously isn't easy. It requires daily effort, conscious choices, and sometimes going against the crowd. But it's worth it when you keep wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance at the core of your actions. Life becomes simpler, decisions become clearer, and most importantly, you become the person you were meant to be. Lesson 5. Always consider the big picture. It's easy to get caught up in the moment. A bad day at work, an argument with a friend, an unexpected bill. Each of these can feel overwhelming. But take a step back. Zoom out. Will this still matter a year from now? 5 years from now? Most of the time, the answer is no. Marcus Aurelius understood this well. He wrote, "How beautifully Plato put it. Whenever you want to talk about people, it's best to take a bird's eye view and see everything all at once." When we step back from our emotions and personal struggles, we gain clarity. We stop sweating the small stuff and start focusing on what truly matters. Think about a time when something seemed like the end of the world. Maybe you lost a job or failed at something important. In that moment, it felt crushing. But now, looking back, you can see that life moved on. Maybe it even led to something better. That's the power of perspective. Small problems, big perspective. Imagine standing in a city street, surrounded by noise, traffic, and chaos. It feels intense, even stressful. But now, picture yourself in a plane, looking down at the same city. From that height, the chaos disappears. You see the bigger picture, a vast, organized network of streets, buildings, and people, all moving as part of a much larger system. Life works the same way. Up close, small problems feel massive. But when you train yourself to step back, you see them for what they really are: temporary, insignificant in the grand scheme of things. Breaking free from your own perspective. One of the biggest mistakes we make is assuming that our experience is the only one that matters. If you've had a bad experience with a certain type of person, you might assume they're all the same. If you're struggling with something, it's easy to think no one else understands. But the truth is, billions of people have lived before us. Billions will come after. Your perspective is just one tiny piece of a much bigger puzzle. Seneca once said, "What need is there to weep over parts of life? The whole of it calls for tears." This isn't meant to be depressing. It's a reminder that everyone faces hardships. You are not alone in your struggles. And no single event defines your life. Making decisions with the big picture in mind. When faced with a difficult choice, ask yourself, am I making this decision based on long-term goals or short-term emotions? Will this still matter years from now? Am I considering all perspectives, or just my own? By thinking this way, you avoid regret. You make choices that align with your true values, not just temporary feelings. Conclusion. See beyond today. Every challenge, setback, or disappointment is just a small chapter in a much larger story. Train yourself to think beyond the moment. See life as a whole, not just in fragments. When you do, problems shrink, wisdom grows, and peace becomes your natural state of mind. Take action and stay connected. Clear thinking isn't just something you learn, it's something you practice every day. The Stoics believed that wisdom comes from action, not just knowledge. So now, It's your turn. Which of these lessons resonated with you the most? How will you apply them in your daily life? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new upload. We're building a community of people who want to think deeper, live wiser, and take control of their lives. Be part of it, and if you want more insights on Stoicism and self-mastery, check out our other videos. Thanks for watching, and remember, your mind is your most powerful tool. Use it wisely. See you in the next one.